Hey guys, Forsaken here, and today we're going to talk about defending in TvT. Basically, I show you the innovation build I covered in another Forsaken favorites, and how to defend various stuff with this. Or how to be aggressive, like abusing builds that are not good against this, etc, etc. Because a lot of people asked in the video I made about, yeah, that's nice that you talk about it, but don't you have some replays or VOD stuff like this? I don't for a fact have VODs because Innovation just hasn't been playing against this kind of stuff because a lot of move outs are really senseless against this build because they just get punished so easily. And another thing is that I do various transitions with this build, one into mech and one into bio, depending on the game I play. So you will see the one or the other. But the defending part of it, like what for units you get at which points, are the same basically. So the defense against the aggressive builds will be the same regardless of the follow-up I do, basically transition into bio or mech. Also, my bio transition is a little bit freestyle. Innovation didn't do it. He attempted to do it, but then decided against it. So basically, my transition is a little bit, yeah, just like, you know, how I think would go. All right, so I'm playing on my barcode account here, just because I got sniped on stream a lot of times recently. So I'm playing barcode. Really helps. Yeah, so that's another barcode, which doesn't really help, but yeah. Okay, so let's see, like this is all normal. You can see the build in my other guide. I will link the guide to the build and everything related to it, like where I explain the build and show some VODs of Innovation doing it in the description below. And yeah, so I scout first at 13. I think the scout is a little bit later because I forgot it. But normally you scout 13 and then you see like this. So this is obviously gas first, you know. First Marine already out for me. Like it popped out 14 seconds ago. So that's at 3 minutes and 8 seconds. So that's the normal timing for a Marine, and there's no Marine here. And the normal Marine timing for gas first is 3 minutes and around 34 seconds. So right now, and there's no Marine here, so I know for a fact it's a Reaper. I also know where the factory is. Like if you scout gas first, scout this factory. It can be proxy Thor even, and especially on this map I had one guy proxying his factory over here, flying it down here, and then Hellion rushing me, but like you can just seal off the entrance. Like I scouted it of course, because I knew alright there's no factory. Destroyed the rocks, and that's basically that. But scout the factory. If you don't see it, it's most likely proxy, and you can go out on the map with your first 2 Marines and scout around. Here I know I don't need it. Alright, so can speed it up a little. So I know it's Reaper, again, no Marine, so Reaper, even for multiple Reapers. So this is Flash style basically. A Flash does this a lot, like 2 or 3 Reapers into some Hellions and then being aggressive and then following it up with the Cloak Banshee. Alright. Pretty popular in Korea right now. Excuse me. So yeah, so that's like what he does here, and just having your Marines in position is like super helpful here, and then you target fire with Reapers, of course, because they regenerate, so you want to kill them first, or you target fire the Hellion. Whatever you like, but target fire something. If you don't, that's not really great. But target fire the Reaper, target fire the second Reaper, and then I target fire the Hellion, and that's basically it. We didn't get any scouting information whatsoever, which is really bad for him. Okay, yeah, so still like nothing. So he really needs to know. And this is like in the Widow Mine here, killing another Reaper, which is really good that I killed a Reaper here, because the Reaper is what gives him scouting. Yeah, so he's completely in the dark. He's following up with the Viking and an eBay because he doesn't know anything, just to be safe against Banshees. Alright, so that's that. My Raven is out, and I kept producing Marines here. That's something I talked about in the last video, because I lost some, and against the Banshee you want like 6 Marines or something, which I have right now again. So that's really what you want to do. Just because you, like if I would have had only these 3 Marines here, Those two are one-shot and this is a two-shot Marine, so Benji could have done some damage or just keep producing Marines. My follow-up here is not the mech follow-up, but the bio follow-up with the tank push, and the CC, it's a little bit late here, the CC. Goes for an expand right here. Right, and then I see this Reaper, and he still doesn't know anything, he just knows I have some Marines at reactor barracks, which is pretty normal for the most part. And then my first tank pops out, and we go on the offensive. So this is like really good, because what he does right now is he tries to go into mech, and that's the crucial point. His air transition is really late. And he has a Raven, and just now starting to produce Vikings. And you will see now, like I'm waiting here for a Banshee, you know, sometimes the late Banshee could come in here, and these units are faster than these units, so that's really nice. Get a Viking here, which is really important, and never lose the Banshee until you have high ground vision, and then I win the air fight, and that's game over right here. So let's go back for a little second, because that was really quick. I just want to explain in more detail what was going on. So let's fast forward times 8. Okay, he scouts this, especially if you get scouted like this with a unit here. Keep your stuff at home for a little bit, because Cloak Banshee could be waiting. And it will ruin your day if you have everything out of position. So I get his only Viking, and now he's producing 2 Vikings at a time versus my 2 at a time here. In a moment, hopefully. Yeah, that's a mistake. Yeah, there we go. Alright. So he will be always behind on Vikings, because I have a Raven and 3 Vikings already, so he can't catch up. So this tank is going totally uncontested here. Like literally, there's nothing that can harm this tank. He's trying the same that I do, but later, and that's not gonna work, because he committed so much to Reaper Hellion early on that he cannot really defend this. Never lose the Banshee, it's just so important. And the Marines on low ground help out, but even if they wouldn't, there have more Vikings coming in, and that's just basically sealing a deal. Again, notice how I keep my Banshee safe, and now I've basically won the game. He has nothing to kill this Banshee, that's why I said it's so important. And he will be constantly behind on the Viking count. Now he kills the Banshee, but I just camp his air now. That means that my tanks are untouchable here. Could move this tank up a little bit. That's basically how you can be aggressive with this build if you do the bio stuff. Behind that I have this Tech Lab Barracks, which will get Sim in a moment. And yeah, that's like the follow-up here. 2 more barracks, engineering bay, getting my situation right, stuff like this, you know. And you see I camp this the starport all the time, and he can't do anything against it, because I have like 3 Vikings against none, and now sub is under attack, and that's the point where he lost. And that's why area control in TvT is so important. You will see this in other games as well. And that's the game. Also tanks, like my tanks will always have vision and his won't, and that's just game right here. He has only Hellions against this, so he loses. And yeah, like without air control he can't do anything against this these tanks here. And yeah, then he's rage quitting, hiding behind the barcode, and then rage quitting. So that's worse than hiding behind the barcode, like I do. Alright, and behind that, like my gas times are a little bit off. You can see I'm saturated, just because I know I've won this game already. So yeah, the transition is a little bit wonky, but it doesn't really matter. I know I've won here. So that's basically really quickly just how this goes. And you can do this push if you know that he is not going for air, or that his air transition is really late. For example, 15 gas builds are really bad because of this. Like if your opponent does these air-centric plays and you go 15 gas, you will never catch up. And that's why these builds are not played. And if they are played and your opponent is decent, they will punish you. So this is another example, like he doesn't go for air, I think. That's me, by the way, here on the top left. So we go 13 gas here, and he goes for 14 gas, I think. So I see this, it's just nice to confirm what he's going for. Cut me in, that's alright. And he goes for fast expand build here, I think. And you will see that this is really easy to abuse. Just going like, he just cut the starport for quicker CC and just going Marine, and he forgoes, like he completely forgoes the air route. And like my Raven will be out when starport finishes, so I will be very far ahead. And you can see this getting punched really hard. He loses Hellion here, which is bad. Okay, and now like, because I don't really know what his follow-up is, my front is safe now with this Widow Mine. And this is like, that's not really important that you cover this. Maybe a supply depot here would be nice. And then like, this is the area where you want to drop, or like over here with Hellions here and Marines here, or where Banshee comes in. So this is where I need to defend. And like, you can see what I'm doing here. I'm just taking Cloak now. And he's going for Hellion Marine drop kind of thing, but because he thinks I have a Banshee on the way, he doesn't do it. Stays defensive, and he's really not getting anything. He gets one Viking and then not produce anything. So by the time I move out, I have one Viking and a Raven, and 2 Vikings at a time as a follow-up, and a Banshee, of course. So this alone is more than he has. He has just 1 Viking, and he's trying to go for an air transition behind that, and that's totally not going to work here. Yeah, and he's like, he has like nothing. Be careful with your tank, siege it up a little bit earlier if you want to. This is optimal when you are in range of his CC, because then he has to do something. And you can see already, like, the Banshee just puts so much pressure on him, and he cannot deal with it, even though my micro sucks in this game a little bit. So I'm just doing this, and then this is like 80% of the time the reaction of the player who didn't go for air or tanks himself, like even if he has 1 tank or so, that he pulls SCVs and tries to break you. What you want to do is you want to focus fire the Marines with the tanks as soon as you can, and don't lose the Banshee. Yeah, and then he basically dies here. And that's how you can abuse airless players, because they really don't have anything to fight back your army and to battle for air control. We will go into his vision and just look like how screwed he is, basically. Alright, so he doesn't know anything first of all, which is really bad. You always want to know where your enemy is, so get a Marine over here, or maybe a Widow Mine over here. That's also why I have the Widow Mine so far forward. I want to know where his army is so that I don't get surprised walking through the bushes here, you know? I know he's not moving out. Alright, so now I come in here, and he sees this, and then he scans, and it's like, oh god. And he just like, he's even building a reactor on the starport. And he's like nothing. And now he's just like, alright. Like his tech is so late. Like this is really early, Stim Combat Shield, but it's really late to be done, and it's not happening here. You can see that he can do nothing about this because he has 0 air control whatsoever. Second tank shows up, now he pulls the boys. And that's the game. Like even if I lost the Raven and the Banshee, doesn't matter, I'm way too far ahead. Now I just focus fire the Marines with the tanks, and there's that. Alright, so that's once again like how you can abuse these kind of builds. And that's why I said, alright, air control play is really important in TvT. You cannot lose the Banshee, and you will see why in a moment. I will lose my Banshee here because of Miss Micro. I think I do the mech variation here, and he does the bio variation, or like at least the tank variation. You can go either way with both of them. Like, okay, if you build a second factory, you go obviously mech, but even with the tank thing, you can go into mech afterwards. So that's a matter of preference. And I will lose my Banshee, as you can see, like that's the exact same thing, just with the tank push, and I do the innovation build with the double factory Hellion kind of stuff. He also does some damage here with Blue Mine drop. It was out of position, like I was, I think, here, where I should have been like here. So, but it doesn't matter for this game. And he does like a little bit of, like with the medevac and stuff, he made a little bit variation of it. So my air control is actually better. You can see like we are even Vikings right now, but I lost some, and whoops, that was way too fast. Alright, so yeah, so here I do a classic mistake again. of having, I do not have the watchtower, which is really important, that I know that this attack is coming, because everything that's here would be here. That's the first mistake. And this hit normally is really, like, if everything would have been here and this Widowmine would have gone off, that's game winning. You cannot hold this. But because I was out of position, because I didn't have any map control, you can get this, which is still alright, you know? I have the reinforcement, I have my air advantage, because, like, and I see, like, I skip a Viking here. Right, so now I lose the Banshee, and you will see, yeah, boom, there it's gone. So now, what I would have done if I had the Banshee, I could have picked off the Marines one by one. I have air control still, so there's nothing you can do to this Banshee, and the Banshee can just pick away and eventually kill the tank. And that's how important it is to keep your Banshee alive. You can see he's rallying over Vikings, but I'm still producing them, normally 2 at a time. And I would have had a 4-to-2 ratio right now. So the Banshee cannot be killed, basically. And now I'm basically losing because I don't have the Banshee. And that's costing me, like, even now, there's nothing, like, I can kill this with a Banshee easy. 1 Marine, 1 tank, here's another Marine in the tank. That's nothing that he can keep doing if I have a Banshee. And I lost the Banshee, so I will lose this game. And that's just how important the Banshee is, you know? I mean, I can defend this, but in the end, I lose. Because I've lost too many SCVs here, so I'm 11 behind. Killed 12, yeah. That's just why the Banshee is important. If I had a Banshee, I could have crushed this push. And now we can go into some, like, I want to show off like one play that you can do or encounter in lower leagues, which is Gasless Expanse. That's like the same, he goes CC first here, and I go one, or like, I go the same build, but it's also applicable for 1 Rex Fast Expanse, basically the same, just here's like, I think a few more Marines maybe, I don't know. Yeah. So I scout this and I'm like, lols, Gasless Expand. So that's like, they don't have, I let my SCV out, which is nice. They do not have air control whatsoever. Even if they go into fast tech, like he does, he goes to barracks, which is considered relatively safe, and then tech. That's still way too late. You can see my Raven is done. And by the time he has a starport finished, I think my Banshee is even done. So I'm just way ahead in every single regard. And I go for the tank player. You see, like, he kind of goes for the same thing, but without the fast airplay. And I goes even for Raven, the Banshee. Raven, alright. Yeah, but that's just way too late, you know? And now I have air control here. And I just click on the tank. I see where the tank can shoot, and then I just hit it. And the Banshee now does work. You can see the Banshee working here. Yeah, this is like resupply depots here. And you can see like he cannot do anything because he doesn't have air control. And I just leapfrog forward here. I target his Marines with my tanks, and that's game already. And you can see the Banshee just doing a lot of work here because he has no air control whatsoever. He's desperately trying to get it back so he can fight my Banshee, but he's not going to, and that's the game. Again. He almost gets it here, and he gets partial air control, but then another set of Vikings shows up and kills him. I'm also clearly going for a medevac, because I know I've won at this point. Yeah, then he's just dying a slow and painful death here. And now that I don't have air control, like my Banshee is out here doing nothing. Yeah, so that's really easy. Keep up the Viking production 2 at a time at any point in the game, and you will win this, like against gasless builds or 15 gases. That's just how it goes. And I just ask him why, and it's just, yeah, I'm trying to just stuff out, and yeah. Alright, so there's that. And now I have one more replay. Like, I'm sorry that I don't have a Gus first defense here, like Banshee Gus first. It just doesn't happen to me. And this time I will defend a Marine tank drop with gas first, which is a really strong build too. You are not in position. And get your army in position way too late when his tanks are sieged up and protected by Marines. And you can easily lose to this or get way too far behind. So yeah, it's a really strong build. And I wanted to show this because I think a lot of players struggle against it. So the follow-up here is like, I think I do the bio stuff again. Or like the tank follow-up. With the tank follow-up you can go into both air and mech. So here you can see like I got the reactor a little bit too early, and that's the Widow Mine for you, already deterring this drop completely. Okay, so I went for this play first. I killed my Viking, which is actually really smart and unfortunate for me, because now I have nothing if he went for bench follow-up, but he's going for this drop follow-up. You can see my Widow Mine again to see if he's moving out. Now he goes for this tank drop, and you can see now why army positioning is important. I position everything on the ramp here, and the Hellions here in the natural, and this I spot this immediately and move into position. And now it's really important, if you see this, to pull your SCVs immediately, before the tanks are sieged up, before everything is unloaded, and before the medevac starts to heal. You need to pull everything and then just crush this, basically. And you can see how important the Banshee is here too. Like after the Marines are gone, I could have put everything away, which would have disrupted my mining. But for example, if you dropped here and I killed the Marines, like the Banshee alone can do so much work. And now he's just basically dead. I do my counter push, and then like you can see again, like we went for this medevac play and then transitioned. Didn't build anything from the starport, and now I have complete air control here with 8 Vikings to 3. And that's basically the game right here. Like it will go on for a little bit, but in the end, like my Banshee can do so much work here because there's nothing I can do against it. And if I would have had my tanks a bit farther forward here, would be much better. I go into mech here even. Yeah, that's why my tanks are so late. All right, you can see like he's trying to get back air control, but he just can't do it, and the Banshee is doing so much damage here. And he pulls everything. He cleans this up, but there's still not enough he can do to basically do counter pressure. He also went for really upgrades. Holy crap, man. Yeah. His 20 SCVs down. I have my third base, which he doesn't. And then I see this move out, and I just crush it. And that's game. So these are, like, this is the brief overview basically. I think a pattern should be clear. Prioritize your Vikings. That's the most important thing. Don't lose your Banshee, otherwise you will lose the game most likely. And just see what he does. If he does really quick air builds as well, like I think the most challenging thing is if he goes gas first and does basically the exact same thing like you do, then this could be a challenge because he has theoretically faster stuff, but in the end you're only a 13 gas behind an 11 gas. So if he pushes you and you produce non-stop, you should have the defender's advantage, and with constant production you should be able to hold it because his reinforcement is 30 seconds later than yours. So in theory and in practice, of course, you should be way ahead and keep basically control of the skies, and then basically even be safe against that. Say way too much basically. Alright. Basically, that's it. So I hope you enjoyed it, and I stream a lot, so if you want to see this build in action and some more awesome play, potentially, sometimes I suck a lot, so just go to my Twitch channel, twitch.tv/ForsakenXE, and you will see more stuff there. If you'd like to support me, go to my Patreon page or donate on PayPal, and yeah, basically tune in. Too much, basically. Tune in next week for another Forsaken Favorites, and I see you then. If you have any questions or feedback, or you want to see anything, basically, like if you have any wish for a video you want to see, let me know. Again, this was highly requested by the player base, so I chose to do it. Maybe the next video you request will be seen on the channel as well. See you then. Bye bye.